I want to share this with you real quick. There's 3 lessons that I learned from this. Last July, my wife and I went back to my hometown of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, just to spend some time and catch up with family. When we get there, my Uncle Colin says, hey, your cousin, who's his son, Isaiah, is performing stand-up tonight. You want to go? So I said, yeah, me and Trudy would love to go. And he's like, okay, we're going to meet you over there. It's me and my friend Luther, the guy I work with. He's like, do you remember Luther? I said, I don't really remember him. He's like, oh, he remembers you. He got a lot of stories about you and about your basketball days. And he's like, so is it cool if he comes? So I said to Colin, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't really know him, and I don't know if I'm up for all this chatter about all the old days, but let's bring him. So Colin and Luther show up, and me and Trudy go, and Isaiah, my cousin, kills his comedy set. We all have a good time. And, throughout the night, Luther is sharing all these stories about my basketball days. And he's like, yo, I remember you in high school when you did this, and I remember in university when you did that. And he's remembering things that I don't even remember. And I'm nudging Trudy because Trudy didn't think that I was a good basketball player. She teases me about it all the time. So I said, look, Luther's telling you all these stories. And so we had all these laughs and these jokes. And then Luther's like, yo, man, I just loved watching you play back in the day. And, you were tenacious and all that kind of stuff. And afterwards, we all left and went home. And my Uncle Colin calls me and he's like, man, we had a great time. He's like, yo, you just made Luther's night, reminiscing with him and, sharing the memories that you and he remembered. So that was cool. A year later, which is just last week, my Uncle Colin sends me a message and he's like, yeah, man, we lost Luther. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, he passed away suddenly. And, him and I just sat there and we talked about those memories and we talked about that night. And it really brought awareness to me of 3 lessons. The first lesson is you don't know the impact that you make on others just by showing up and doing the things that you love. Like, you don't know the people that are secretly watching you. As Luther was saying these things to me, this was 25 years ago that I played basketball, and it's had an impact on him that long. So you never know the impact of what you do and what you love to do, how it impacts other people. The second lesson for me was sometimes you just don't want to make time for people. Sometimes you just don't want to answer that DM or that comment, or you don't want to show up for a friend or a family member, but you don't know what it means to that person. And the third lesson is you don't know how you're going to benefit just by showing up or by stopping to have that conversation with that person. So those are 3 things that I learned, and I just want to say, rest in peace to Luther, my condolences to his family, and, I'll just remember that night for the rest of my life. I just wanted to share that with you because maybe you needed to hear that. I'm out.